So I was just thinking about the studio not too long ago, and with like the climate in the country right now. And I was like, man, if my studio could have, if we could have had like 7 like dudes who all didn't want to be the top dog,
Right.
like we could have been something crazy. I think about that a lot now, seeing how there's a call for like this unity and the team that we had. Like if you look now at the players that were a part of the team in the beginning, I'm just like, yo, we had like a lot of heavy hitters in the studio, who all came to the forefront, in their due time. But when we were all together, everybody wanted to be the dude. And it was like the downfall because nobody could just play second fiddle. You know what I mean?
Right.
Meanwhile, nobody was really trying to be the top dog. It's a weird dynamic. I had a long session with myself about just the whole thing because I ran across one of the T-shirts that I had made for the studio back then.
I feel like it was almost like a full-time job for you. So for those who don't know, you had a studio that you kind of sublet to other photographers.
Sure.
And it was called Glamourville. That's
Right.
where we first met.
Sure.
And so I have some fond memories of the basement. wait.
What?
So quick story.
Oh, boy.
When we first met, and I pulled into the back lot, and there was like a loading dock, and I'm
Right.
like, "What is this?" And then I go down the stairs, and it's like real narrow and dark, and then there's like boxes and stuff. And I'm like, "Yo, is he gonna kill me
Yes.
now?" Like, and then
I killed it.
and then he killed it. He actually killed it. So moral of the story is, doesn't matter where you shoot or how fancy your studio is, if you're a great photographer or if you suck, it's gonna show.
Right. Yeah, and believe it or not, the dichotomy of what the studio looked like when you was coming into it and the work that we produced out of it is how I came up with the name. So,
Right.
because when you come, like I had a lot of people who would come to the stairs and be like, I'm not going down there. And I'm like, okay.
But and, like you would really think like, wait, those photos came out of here? But listen, people have made hit records in the basement.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just
You got to
it's
get
what
over it.
is.
And,
Yeah.
so, and photos from that first photo shoot are still some of the
Your favorites?
my favorite, yeah.
Right.
Because I think everything was on point. Wardrobe, makeup, everything. I gotta find those photos. I don't even know where they are. They're probably somewhere on a drive somewhere.
Right.
I gotta find them. But those were like some of my favorite that we've taken together. You've taken photos with other dudes, and I'm like, man, fuck out of here. Because they were so dope, like, you know what I mean? So
Right.
I was always competing against other dudes like in my mind.
Right.
So even though we wasn't competing like side by side, I was always competing with somebody in my mind. So, but when that passion, when all that left, it kind of all rushed out at the same time,
Right.
which is crazy because I never experienced anything leave me like that so quickly.
That was me with drawing. So for those who don't know, I used to draw. Like I grew up drawing comics and just whatever. Since I was little,
Right.
5, 6 years old, I started.
You drew all my tattoos.
And then I just drew and drew and drew. And then I never want to pick up a pencil and draw again. I can't
Right.
even explain it. I
Right.
don't even, and this has been over 10 years now. And people, oh, can you, no, I don't. I don't
Right.
draw anymore. I don't do, I started picking up some paint and kind of like doing, my little projects and stuff again. But
Sure.
when it comes to actually sitting there and drawing on a piece of paper, when I used to be able to sit there for like 6, 7 hours straight just doing it, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
It's weird. But
Yeah, it's nuts. I guess after you get your 10,000 hours in, and
yeah, then you're done.
then you're done. Like it's crazy. There's a couple things I hope never happens to me like that. I hope with basketball is one of them, and I just hope the will to like live never leaves me like that. Because it's weird. Like when people know you for what you used to do and you no longer do it,
Right.
it's nuts.
Right.
Because people still like, yo, you need to do this. I'm like, nah,
Right.
bro. I don't. You can't pay me enough.
In high school, I was the girl that could draw. That's who I was. Like, oh, she's the one that draws, because they used to put my artwork from art class in the hallways and stuff all the time.
Right.
So it's like, oh, that's the girl that draws. So literally, and I'm like, I want nothing to do with it at all.
So in high school, I wasn't very popular in high school. I didn't really start hitting my stride till like after high school, and then as I get older, like I'm hitting like full stride. And dudes who are getting older will understand what I'm saying. So in high school, like I see some of the
You
high
didn't hit
school
your
pictures
peak
from you.
You didn't hit your peak in high
Yeah,
school.
and I'm glad I didn't.
Right, because then you're gonna be older a lot longer than you're gonna be younger.
Because
So
I know some dudes who were in high school, they was the shit.
right.
And like now, they are shit. And I'm just like, yeah, you got there too quickly,
Too
bro.
quickly.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm glad. I mean, I was not street, wow. Scratch that. Name recognition, I had that, right? But I wasn't like super duper popular. I didn't play high school sports. I used to sew. So
Okay.
I did sew a couple pieces that got stolen actually out of the showcase in high school.
Oh, okay.
Nuts, right? You're like, yo, that's my right there. And then you come back the next day. I don't know how it was in your high school, but in our high school, in our hallways, we had like showcases.
We had some of those, and that's where they would put some of my artwork and stuff. And I actually like drew the senior pin and the
Okay.
actual button. And then it was like controversy because our mascot is the Viking, and I did a girl Viking.
Okay.
And then it was 2001, that was our year. So on a pin, I did 2001, and the O were her boobs, but it was
Oh,
like
wow.
the
You wildin'.
swirly. You know how the Vikings have the swirly boob bras?
Yeah,
So then it had she had ponytails.
right?
And then it was like, you gotta take the ponytails off because it's leading right to her boobs. So I was like,
Right.
all right. So I took the ponytails off, and then people were like, that's you. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's a freaking cartoon. What are you talking about? Like, whatever. But yeah, I did the senior pin and I did the senior button.
That's dope. I didn't know that till just now.
Yeah.
That's pretty
I think
dope.
I have it upstairs somewhere in like a little high school box that I keep.
Yeah, that's super dope. I don't have anything from high
Yeah, I
school, not
think I
even
do
a
have it.
yearbook.
Yeah.
So
So the pin was just like an NE for Northeast High School, and then I did wings on the side.